All right, everybody. This is Silent Flute. Ongoing weekly lecture for 5.25 years now. Very exciting. Man, I remember the beginning of that. Man. Woo. 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 Okay, well, let's start with questions because I don't really have an inspiration for the talk. I have so much and yet nothing going through my mind at the same time because of my exhaustion from both the weekend and the jiu-jitsu. Especially the dynamism of jiu-jitsu. Like, it's literally like you're playing chess and you're like trying to figure out the next move and their move and like how the moves relate. You looking for something in particular?
Yes, Silent Flute notes.
Okay. You could also search. It's interesting. It's like problem solving, and it's really nice. It works when I'm losing, but it's actually a little bit easier when I'm not losing. So like I'm doing jiu-jitsu with somebody that isn't as good as me, and I'm able to really relax, slow down, just hold a little bit of position and let my mind solve the riddle or solve the puzzle of like, okay, what's the least effort? Because that's like what my practice will be like. What's the least effort to get to the solution I want? His arm like that, his leg like this, whatever. And, or his neck or head like this. So in a way, I mean, that's very similar to life. It reminds me of the 4-Hour Work Week, which I never read, but I saw, I think, a podcast with Tim Ferriss or whatever once. And it's that similar idea. Like his 4-Hour Work Week was actually like a lot of hours sitting and thinking about what needs to be done. And it was just, I don't know, through lists, making lists, or just the way he thought about it, just finding like those 1 or 2 linchpin activities that's kind of holding up everything. That's the bottleneck of everything else. That's like what I got from the pod. Maybe there's more to it, but it was a lot of planning. Like Abraham Lincoln says, what is it? 6 hours to cut a tree, 5 hours sharpening your axe, instead of just hacking at it for 6 hours. And which seems like a lot. It's work. It's 6 hours of work, actually. But when you really integrate your life so that everything, like a bead on a necklace, like plays its role in this thing that you're doing, this purpose or whatever, then it's not as much work. It doesn't seem like as much work. Like, for example, let's say I message lots of IMC guys, selling them on camps or whatever. Like I actually, like if this was just my job just to sell camps, then that would be, every message would be like clocking in work time. To a degree, it is clocking in work time, but I'm also on a friendship level interested in guys changing. On a scientific level, I'm very curious in like, you know, how they're evolving, or maybe psychologist level, maybe not saying scientific level. You know, on a anthropological or sociological level, I'm interested in like just where they're at in life, what's their jobs, and you know, geographically, and you know what's life like. So I'm like doing all of that. Like I have all those feelers and all those people, and that brings a joy because it also plays a role in other things where it makes me a more interesting person. I'm able to relate with more people. Of course, I'm out and I'm relating with women, relating with men, and my ability to relate, it's at least partly my competence on the subject of whatever they're talking about. Another part of it, and this might actually be like the whole kit and caboodle. No, there's like 3. There's probably 3 parts, I would say. One part is your competence on whatever they're talking about. A second part is your interest in what they're talking about. Like, your interest in them talking about it. Not just your interest in the subject, because you can be so interested in guitars. Somebody starts talking about guitars, and then you can't stop talking about guitars. You're not listening to them at all. You're just waiting your turn to talk. You might be so interested in the subject, but that's different than being interested in the person talking. That's what will make it a good communication. But if you're only interested in the person, but no competency on the subject, it's going to be limited. How curious can you be? How intelligent can you be in that conversation? It's a little bit limited. Not impossible, because you could be totally ignorant on a subject and just be so that then you could also have this third part, which is your just kind of like social awareness. So you could be so interested, you could be so competent on the subject, but you have no calibration to how you're asking, how you're talking. You know, that's a different thing than being interested in the person. You don't know how to talk to them. You could know how to talk to them, but you don't have any interest. You could have interest and know how to talk to them and zero competency. Okay, but if you're socially aware, you'll know how to ask questions. If you're interested in them, you'll ask the questions. So you'll gain competency. That would be like, you know, well, I was going to say like student teacher, the student knowing how to be a student. Like when I went to India, I remember David Garrig and beingness Iyengar, though they didn't say it, that I know that they could acknowledge that they were recognizing how good of a student I was. I remember David regularly telling the class, no questions. There's no questions. He would do these lectures. I would ask questions. I just didn't raise my hand to be called on to ask a question. He would be talking. Samskara means blah, 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 blah. What about that? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh. And it just kept going like a conversation versus the other people would try to raise their hand and they couldn't communicate very well. It was like they would maybe put him on a pedestal like a lord. But he was just an older, more experienced guy to me. I already had my teachers that were so much better than him at life. It's just he had these things. He was yogi. And similar with BNS, just how he would acknowledge me. You know, because he's very old Indian guy. So his, like just his acknowledgements of a good question or whatever. So that's me knowing how to address the teacher as if they're a teacher, but not ridiculously, because those other women in the yoga or whatever they're trying to ask, or the guys, the few guys that are trying to ask, they're not regarding him like a man. They're not regarding him like just a wiser, older man. Just show respect, but cool, be cool. Don't be like pretending like he's some sage or something and you have they would try to win the approval or the favor of the teacher by being the most devout. And I wanted to win the approval and admiration of the teacher as a good student by being just as like almost like a man. I was just the most committed. I was the most engaged. I was the most mature, possibly, about the subject. Not necessarily the most advanced or most developed in it, just the most, I was approaching it the most maturely. Other people might have been approaching the yoga subject as like escape. I was approaching it like integrate. What is this? How does this improve my life? I'm not giving up on my life. I'm living my life. And this is like part of it that I've chosen to be part of it. Everybody chooses to put whatever parts they want to be part of their life. Oh, there's Master myself just joined.
Do we need our cameras on?
No, that's okay. And only the guys can. Girls don't turn on the camera.
Okay,
But
I don't know if you wanted the guys off.
You're right. You're right. No. Yeah, guys could be on, girls off.
Okay.
And it probably would be a little bit more directed talk towards you. I kind of talk in that. Oh, I just see, Sultan, that you had written that comment. Oh, you just wrote it. But the lecture tends to be kind of airy and theoretical and stuff when there's no cameras on. If there was no person here and everybody's cameras were off, I would just be talking to myself basically. Maybe some hand claps or like a typed comment or so I know you're there. But it gets really airy. It's just you'll notice if that happens with you. Yeah, for sure. I know you get it. I'm just okay. So I said, hold on. Ray has his son tonight. Can make it. Let's finish the video without him. Okay. So one of the guys got the mail. So if it was in the mailbox, it'll be in the kitchen. But I don't know if it's there right now.
Different box. It's not,
You have the key to that?
Yeah.
Okay, with you?
yeah,
Okay, we'll check that. I don't know where it is.
it's like a big box full of the mailbox.
Has it been there the whole time?
Yes.
Oh. Well, you live and learn. Now we know. Yeah, easy. There was a time, I don't know if you know this, Sultan. I forget who we were talking about. Maybe it might have been you.
We were talking about me, or you were talking about me?
I think we were talking about, it might have been during the Avatar thing.
Yeah.
And I was just being sarcastic and like making a joke,
Mm.
a very, very dry, kind of almost like a dad joke or a grandpa joke.
Mm.
So we're talking about how to improve somebody's avatar, and everybody's giving their feedback. Doesn't make it right or wrong, because some people give opposite feedbacks. You should shave your head. You should grow your head. You know, you should have a neck tattoo. You shouldn't have a neck tattoo. Like, so the person has to like evaluate for themselves what the fuck they want. But at least it gives them some outside ideas. I think it was during you, or it was during somebody. Maybe it was Fernando. I don't know. Oracle. I remember where I was standing. Octavio was next to me. And I just kind of murmured it, not to anybody, just like kind of, but out loud. I knew I was saying it out loud. I was like, look better.
Look better.
Look better. I said it, and Pyro was to my right and Octavio was to my left. And Octavio was busting out laughing. If you can
But who
remember,
did you say it to?
I just said it out loud so they could hear it. I was kind of in light conversation with them, but no, I wasn't really in conversation because we were doing the assessments. It was during Eros's segment yesterday.
Right, but was somebody like?
There was no clear recipient. I was kind of in I was in the auditory field, or the sphere of sound of Octavio and Pyro. And I was lightly talking with Pyro and maybe Octavio. So I said it so that I knew they could hear it, but I didn't expect like anything to really come of it. I think Pyro smiled and Octavio just laughed for a long time about it. And, you know, we were joking later about it and whatever. So it's like a dad joke. It's like, what's your advice for me to look better, Dad? Look better is basically what it came down to. And obviously I also gave some more precise feedback. It was just like the words that came out of me in that moment, in that breath. And so what I was talking about, facial expression.
You were saying that, start with the camera, keeping the camera on and acknowledging, head nods.
Yeah, acknowledging.
And then you said something. You said you were talking about me, or something like that. And then that's when you went into the story of that dad joke.
Yeah. Acknowledging. I see in my mind some geometrical connection, but I don't see the logic in it. So that's fine. So is there anything I can help you guys with? You know, I guess we were talking about David Grieg and acknowledgements. What?
Yeah, you're saying that
Yeah, she was saying about being a good student, and what were you going to say? Oh yeah,
being a good student, acknowledging, or asking questions. You would ask the question, you wouldn't raise your hand.
Yeah, it was like I was in the conversation versus like I was an observer of a lecture. So like even though it was one man talking mostly, it was like I was in the conversation the whole time versus just like paralyzed listening or kind of, you know. And so there was a readiness to engage that made it almost impossible not to answer me, because like I just made it part of the lecture. I made my question part of the lecture so that it was like music playing. Somebody's doing like all the music, and then one person comes in for just a second, ding, ding, hits the triangle, and it made sense. It was in rhythm with it, and it made sense to the song. That was what my questions would be. And I know it left an impression the way he messaged me a couple times after that retreat. So again, I don't know exactly where that was going with the cameras on and whatever, but I know at the beginning, you know, I'm not here to, be your coach, consultant, or whatever, but maybe there's something on your mind. And maybe this is the window of opportunity, the context that you might be comfortable voicing something. So I'll just leave that open for a second.
Man, it's not a question, but I really want to go out.
Yep.
And I think you do too.
Both, because I really want to watch Cosmic Disclosure. So like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights are my nights to binge watch Cosmic Disclosure. Because now Thursday, I was really, really committed. Do you mind me telling about the vision, or you want me to water it down a little bit?
I mean, whatever you like, man. It's your call.
Okay, well, Sultan hasn't had the most success with women while he's been here, but his character has developed. Like we were just looking at pictures from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it's not just fate. There's so much maturity, and women today are like, they don't make them like you, you know? Yeah, like you. I told on lecture today, I was like, the best women for relationships are foreign born. They're not American women. American women suck. One of the reasons why Megan is cool is because she's Native American. She comes from different culture in different lineages in her past than just American America. And it's difficult to find because, man, women are psycho. What's up? Your energy shifted as soon as I brought up Megan. No? Okay. Is it tummy rumbling? Sometimes when I have to fart, I make a weird face. I'm not saying that you do, but I'm just saying that I do. I tell you what, at fighting today, yeah, I had some farts. I had to go and I just eaten a bunch of watermelon, so I had to pee really bad for like half of it. I know, horrible, but I was hydrated with sugar water. So, just seeing that. And then I also see the methods that are being thrown around in IMC. So this is silent flute lecture. So I'll say whatever I say. Sultan is really good friends with Marin, and Marin is all into like BDSM and, quick seduction, quick sex with girls. He gets a lot of girls. It's a kind of girl. And it's, there's elements of it that I like, and there's elements of it I don't like. The elements of it I didn't like, I had to look and see, okay, is there insecurity in any of this? Or is there more reason? The parts that were insecurity, that's why I got the mannequin. That's why I learned a rope trick. And I was like, okay, just get over that hurdle, did that. And that was for my own growth. That actually was for the women. That was for me. Everything I do is for me. So when I send you money as a gift, it's for me. It's because I feel good doing it. It's just what it is. Because that would be weird if I did it for you and I felt bad doing it. That would be hella weird. So, the first thing in the morning, okay. It's funny, the music video time is changing, so we'll stick with our schedule that we were going to do. No, I mean, stick with the schedule like we changed it for this week, just so that, yeah, from this morning. So I saw Sultan's value grow. Oh, what was I saying about the other coach? So I see there's influences from there. He's really good friends with that guy, and I'm with Marin, and I see it as a certain kind of game that doesn't really vibe. It's not on tune with what AZD does. AZD's game is informed by a different lineage of pickup. Like, let's say there's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a lineage of martial arts, and then there's karate, which doesn't look anything like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then there's like boxing, which doesn't look anything like karate. It's a different lineage. So there's mystery method, and then there's like this other thing, which is like this speed seductive BDSM kind of pickup. And there's like an online kind, and then there's like an on the street kind of, you pick up girls on the street. And there's things that don't vibe with, there's a greater beingness that comes with the AZD method because it's so community oriented. It's so tribal oriented. Like you face the consequences of your actions through social reputation because you see a lot of the same people. Not necessarily small town game. It's not that. It's more of like take over your city. And if you were going to become the mayor and they had to know everything about you, they would have to be proud of everything they saw about you. They would need to vote for you. Now, this isn't like win the majority because the majority are sheep. So it's all your people, though, got to be about it. And it's not that we're not about what Marin does. Everybody's about it because it's a thing that he does that is able. It's like I do yoga. It's a thing. Like everybody, there's a lot of people that are into yoga, but nobody took it as extreme as me. Nobody has the ambition to lay down for an hour and a half and do muscle activations and get enjoy. No music, just like get enjoyment out of that. Like maybe there's a handful that have like some inkling for that, but there's a commitment to it. And it's brought some fruits. A lot of those fruits are not useful unless I just keep doing that thing. It's almost like a self-perpetuating thing where it's like only let's say I stretch so much that I destabilize my SI joint. So then I need techniques for stabilizing the SI joint. So now I've created my own problem and created my own solution for it. And it's this self-perpetuating thing where I keep overstretching my hips and keep putting it back together, and I keep overstretching it and keep putting it back together. And then so like day in and day out, I practice yoga 2-3 hours a day, just like solving the problems I'm creating by doing the practice. Instead of diversifying my activities, let's say that's how Doug Swenson taught me, that's who certified me, to diversify, cross-train so that you're hiking mountains. So sometimes you go canoeing, sometimes you ride a bicycle, maybe you take a jog, maybe you take a day off some days. And there's also yoga that goes through that, but you give up the extreme yoga poses, you'll eventually get so flexible that some incredible poses just become easily available to you. But you learn the foundation and you practice, and he has a way of doing it that's combined with Tai Chi. So it's like, it's even more gentle. And that's actually very much, it's very much closer. You like that grammar? It's very much closer to like almost like how AZD does game. That's like how Doug Swenson does yoga. It's very integrated. It's all yoga. If you talk to him, it's like all he talks about. It's and it's down to the nutrition and everything is part of it.
Yeah.
Everything contributes to it. Versus like how I was a PhD student by day and a yogi by night. A yogi wake up, do yoga, go to PhD all day, come home, go teach yoga, come back, do my schoolwork. So it's like going back and forth and back and forth. And the yoga people don't care about engineering. The engineering people don't care about yoga. And it's splitting my life. And it's tearing my mind side to side like a ping pong ball. And it's fatiguing. But it lets me get half wet in this pool of yoga with all the yoga people and those female bodies and those anatomy geeks and the people that like to do acrobatics. And so it's like fun. It's fun. It's like, because I wasn't going to do jiu-jitsu or wrestling. So it was like, I had these nails that I play guitar with. So that actually was it kept me from doing grappling or whatever. Because I mean, now I barely play the guitar. I was playing all day. Like I had my segment. When I got back from school, I would usually, or early in the morning, I would rip a big bong rip. I had all these bongs. I think I might have gotten rid of all the bongs, actually. I had one bong. It was a $600 bong. It was an Illadelph. These diamond tipped whatever's diffusers. It was nice. And ice and everything. And so I'd get hella ripped, play my set for like 45 minutes, then do my yoga. So I did that a lot of months. Like I integrated my guitar, but I was a very antisocial person. So, and I was never, it was only for a very brief time in between semesters that I ever indulged in my guitar fantasy as much as I wanted to. It was always, I don't play enough. I want to play more. Like I barely play. I only play like an hour or two. It doesn't even matter. And the thing is even during that time in between semesters, because I took a semester off, midway through the semester is when I moved to Florida and started working for the department. So it was probably like 4 or 5 months from when I graduated my master's to when I started the PhD research. Yeah, about 5 months. in that summer, did a lot of LSD, got into yoga, and was playing my guitar, and I was running through scales and whatever. And it's amazing when you have all the time in the world, how little of that time you actually allocate to the thing that you said you wanted. So you want to, what would be another example of that? You want to learn how to skateboard. So you're like, man, as soon as school's out or as soon as wrestling season's over, I'm going to skateboard so much. As soon as wrestling season's over, you don't even skateboard hardly. You did almost just as much as you did when you were in season. So it's this weird thing. It's like you said you were going to do it because you were thinking of escaping. That's why. It was an escape for you. So it's like when I'm cutting weight, I'm like, I'm going to drink a whole swimming pool. And then when you're not cutting weight and you get just a couple bottles of water and you're fine. You don't want to drink any more water. It's like, but when I was so thirsty, I wanted to drink a whole fucking gallon. Try drinking that gallon. You're only going to get a quart into it. You're full. You can't drink anymore. So from a place of starvation or scarcity, we want so much. And then when we start on that path, we give up so early because we didn't want it that much. We just wanted not to be in the feelings and condition that we were in. So we were fantasizing that thing will do it all. As you start moving in that direction, you will start replacing pieces of your life to be more and more of what you want. And that's this integrated life versus being split where I'm indulging in this and they don't like it or know about it. And I'm indulging in that and they don't like it or know about it. Or maybe they do, but it's like it's just not integrated. So with a disintegrated life like that, I see it being simpler to do that kind of direct BDSM game of, approach girls on the street and kind of because it's singling girls out a lot of times. And it's really cutting to the chase, which works for some loose girls or some girls of a particular variety. Like, for example, there was a girl I just unmatched on Bumble. She was a little younger than me, little cute, but not that cute. And she was in her bio like a submissive. Like she's proclaiming she's a submissive. I don't know how selective she is for doms, but she starts talking. She asks me a question because on Bumble, the girl opens first. So you just got to wait. If she doesn't open, then you unmatch. It just naturally unmatches. So you okay? Or you got the thing? Okay. No, it's your face I'm reading. Your facial expression looks alarming to me. It alarms me. Why? It's the angle of the lips and the tension that I perceive. It's some details that I perceive. That's whenever I ask, like, is it okay? Are you okay? It's because I'm seeing something. I'm not just like randomly those words come to mind. I'm seeing something, so I ask.
It makes me like not okay when you ask. Like,
Then you can't be in lectures. Okay? So you don't want to be in lectures?
no, I mean like got
You got, so I don't tell the teacher how to teach. So if you got a problem with me asking you, if that's a problem, this a problem, are you having a problem? Then you can't be here during lecture. You can be at remote. So which do you prefer? Remote? That's what you want?
I'm saying like I'm fine. I'm not sure.
You're not using the right language though. On remotely,
Both. Like both.
you're fine with both, so then you should be remote. I think. I don't know. That's not the answer that I'm looking for. If you wanted to be present, if you want to be in person, then you should fucking say it.
Oh yeah, I want to be.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What are you hiding? Your face is communicating something that your words are not.
I start to feel extremely anxious when you start to yell at me in the middle of lecture.
Yeah. So that's why I don't think you should come to lectures anymore until you can either handle it or just quickly just clear the slate. Just clean the palate. Just fucking say it. You got gas?
No.
Because it looks like you either got gas or you got a problem with something.
No.
Are you just stoning out?
I feel like I'm just listening.
Okay,
I
there's a
can't
facial
control all of
expression.
the thoughts that go through my head. I don't.
So then just be honest and confess when you are, because your face is reacting to something you're thinking about, or it's reacting to what I'm saying, or it's reacting to something that's happening, but nothing's happening in this room. So
Like
it's,
I'm unaware if I'm reacting to something. Like,
that's
I'm just
why
watching.
I am asking. It's to put your attention on, fix your face. You
Okay.
can't have like sour face while I'm lecturing because it makes it
Is
look
this
like
the first time or was it?
what I'm saying is that every time when you hear me say, is everything all right? Or anything like that, you got gas, something like that. It's a weird question. I know I keep repeating it, but sometimes that's just what it is. Fuck it. I'm only asking because I'm reading upset face. If I was seeing happy face, I wouldn't be asking that. So there's something in your face. So whether you're conscious or not, I'm conscious. That's why I'm asking. I don't like lecturing to sad face. I mean, at least I want to, not right now. When I said it, and then it became this whole thing because of when I looked, I'm not staring at you, but when I looked, that's what I was perceiving. Okay. You are arguing at this point. There's always a way to ask a question. The way to ask the question, I was just talking about how to be a student. The way to be a student is not this. For just a second? Was I making a face for just a second? You hear how argumentative that is? What do you want to fight me? You're gonna lose. The angrier I become, the worse it's gonna be for you. Here's how to be a fucking goddamn student. Okay, pay attention. Ready? Yeah. You sure? You about to cry? Here's how to be a student. Ready? So, let's see, what would I say? Was it just that one time, or do you notice it more than once? What's wrong?
Nothing.
No, you're crying. Don't say nothing.
I'm not crying. I mean, like, I am, but like I told you, I'm getting anxious because I'm getting yelled at. So I'm sorry. I apologize. You know, wanting to be sad.
Yeah, you need to fix yourself, or you're gonna go. It's already 4:44. I'll walk you out and finish lecture, and you can do it remotely. Something is not pressing enough. It's more important to you to be sad and dramatized than voicing what the fuck is wrong. I'm not yelling at you. Maybe I'm raising my voice. Don't be such a pussy.
Okay.
I know your parents have yelled at you. Don't say what I'm fucking doing is yelling at you. I'm goddamn educating you. They ever fucking yelled at you? Somebody's yelled at you.
Yeah.
Is this yelling? Come on. Don't be such a feminist about this shit. You got a problem with me talking about Bumble and a sub bitch?
No, I mean, I think
That's what it
that
looked
you
like.
think I have a problem with it.
I do think that you have a problem with something when your face is a stink face and it looks like something is smelly in the environment. Like something like that. It's subtle. All right. And maybe you're not conscious of what you're thinking about.
Like, I don't.
Okay. So then I would ask, now that you've fed me that sentence, because I'm talking about this and you fed it back to me that you're not conscious, here's how the next time it would go. Would be something like, what are you thinking about? Of course, we all hate that question. I hated that question growing up. I got asked that question all the time because I would be staring off while we were driving or something. And my dad would be like, what are you thinking about? Nothing. So I don't ask that question. What are you looking at in your mind? What are you reacting to? Your face doesn't look comfortable. Is everything all right? That's what it is. I'm voicing it because of that. I enjoy lecturing. If it looks like you're not enjoying my lecture, it's antagonistic to me. And it just so happened, it happened during Bumble Bitch, sub bitch. So that's unlucky for you that your unconscious facial expression happened to coincide with I was talking about other women in game, because it irritates me if you would have a problem with what?
I apologize if this is gonna sound argumentative, but I feel like every time I'm here and you at any point mention another woman, you're like looking at me for me to have some kind of a reaction instead of like, I am a human woman. Like I probably do get jealous on a subconscious level. I don't know. But I'm not trying to get screamed at in the center of lecture because my eye moved to the right when I'm like truly enjoying the lecture and now everyone thinks
it's not that your eye moved to the right. It's not that your eye moved to the right. And what the fuck do you give a fuck about everybody?
Like I don't care, but it just always seems like I feel afterwards like a bad guy. Like I wasn't paying attention, I wasn't enjoying it when that's not true. Like it just simply isn't true.
That's why I'm saying, if you pay attention, I want to call you all kinds of really bad names right now, but I'm not going to. So if you fucking pay attention, I said, your face is communicating something different than your words. That's why I'm asking, because you're saying, don't have a problem. No, I'm good. I feel good. Your face didn't look like it. Your face looked like it was upset. Okay. So also on some level think I'm being lied to when your face is saying, I'm happy. No, I'm good. That's an exaggeration. All right. Just fucking listen to the lesson and quit arguing with me. Do you get it? When the face is saying something different than the words, then I'm asking a question because I feel like I'm being fucked with. Do you get it? Do you want to keep arguing? You want to make it worse? Okay, so Bumblebitch says whatever she says. Are you in the lifestyle or something BDSM related? I say something, yeah, totally. I'll say, oh no, I unmatched it. I say, yeah, totally, but I like a woman that knows how to be submissive in real life. When we come out, when you meet me or something, when we meet, I like a woman that knows how to be submissive in life, how she talks and how she carries herself. If you behave like a good woman, then I would take you for some tacos and we could talk about the rest. She came back with all kinds of, you're misogynist, you just want to abuse women, blah, 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 blah. Now, maybe she wanted to be like a brat, but that's what a liability to a man with fucking power. He buys into a dynamic like that with a woman at any time. She could record things with him where she's like saying, refusing things, and then he's dominating her, but that's because that's what she likes. But on the audio recording, it sounds like he's raping her. It's fucked up. I almost reported her, but I'm like, man, if I report her, that's going to pull Bumble onto me. They're going to look at me. And they're going to have all kinds of problems with me saying submissive. Guy can't even say submissive to a woman without it being like a trigger word. Oh, that's abusive, patriarchal bullshit. So I just fucking unmatched it. Didn't whine and bitch about it. On her profile, she was a liberal. That's some loose ass, liberal ass, stupid ass bitch that is hungry for sex. She's starving to be submissive. She says she's broadcasting, I'm submissive. She wants a man to dominate her, but in life, she will only interact with man as the dominant. So she dominates interactions because she can, because men are starving for pussy. And then in the bedroom, she will allow herself to be submissive because that's really what she wants. And she'll need to get tied up and gagged and all this shit and choked so that she feels powerless. Because in life, she has all the power and all the men give her the power and don't know how to be alpha over her. I want a woman that is submissive, not just a submissive in bed. That's gross to me. Integrated lifestyle. I like what you're doing with your hair. Something about that motion and the display of yourself is very pretty. It's very grounded. You look like a young maiden in a field, a wide open field of tall grass and dandelions. Well, it's just what you're doing. All right. You see how your words and your face align? Thank you. Like how you made that face, that was more, and the feeling was there. That was full manifestation communication. See what it's manifesting from this end? Okay. I'm a good communicator. And if I didn't communicate with so many people, you would make me doubt myself. If I was only communicating with you. And with any woman, that's just, you don't know that, but that's what women do. They are better at communicating two things. Their face and body language, one thing, their words, another. Their tonalities, one thing, their words, another. Their words, tonalities, body language, and it's just like, what the fuck is she saying? I don't even know what she means. That's why guys are lost. You need competency on that stuff, and you need interest. It's her job to be beautiful and keep getting more beautiful and keep changing herself so that it keeps your interest. Yeah, that breasts out to here. No, that's a liability to keep fucking, man, give you all kinds of neck problems and whatever. Yeah, you don't need that. Okay. It's better because I'll do headshots also tonight. And a couple new ones. So yeah. All right, so we're about to be done. That took a lot of the time. So excited to go out. It's a weird world out there with women. The women you match with are sexualized. They completely objectify themselves, but you're not allowed to objectify them. They can objectify themselves all day, and the way that they post the way that their profiles are set up, they're just the cheapest whore. They are the cheapest whore. They don't even know their own worth of the pussy. They could make a lot. They do a lot better if they just hoard themselves instead of just being on a Tinder profile, like looking like a whore and just giving it away for free to the dicks that she likes. Like, well, what the fuck are you doing? Stupid. Better to just be shy, conservative woman, and then but there's no good guys. I get it. That's how they and COVID, and they're all brainwashed. Half of them are brainwashed and think COVID was real. They're stupid. They're so stupid. So, I mean, I could go on and on. I don't want to describe like all the ways of game and whatever. But this is a tribal game. This is a game where you go out with your friends. This is a game that captures the woman's soul from a just a fully integrated philosophy that is the straightest line of relationships towards enlightenment, of using relationships as the vehicle towards enlightenment. This is that straight line. Versus other kinds of game, it splits you up, and then you will become more enlightened as you do that stuff, but there's a limit to there's wisdom that's not available to you until you integrate your life. There's levels of yoga I couldn't achieve while I was staring at a screen for 8 hours a day doing engineering. There's levels of engineering I couldn't achieve by doing so much yoga because I wasn't involved as much as I needed to be. So the wisdom of this lifestyle comes from making 24 hours a day part of purpose, like the beads on the necklace. And so I saw Sultan's personality and character developing, but I just saw this. I didn't feel sorry for him. I saw a man that finally became okay with not being helped. I think up until I said that, Sultan, when I had that vision, I saw a guy that was looking for help. And then at some point, within a few days, that time span, I saw a guy, there's something in your character, and it could totally be subjective. It's just, I'm not even saying that's what it is at all. That's just the story I was telling myself. And I see that now, that it was like, I saw a guy that was finally, even though, you know, it was just a man that took ownership of what he was doing, was open to help, but wasn't seeking help anymore. For some reason that shifted it for me. And so I had a new thing where I thought, I'm going to get Sultan more socially calibrated with women when he's out, because Sultan has good sound bites and a lot of good pieces to the seduction puzzle. But being around people with your woman is a whole different thing. Being around your tribe with a woman, it doesn't have to be your woman, just like a woman, interacting with women. And it's not that I'm great at it. It's just, I don't even know that I'm good at it. I don't know. I think the guys look up to me and I have some skills, but it's just like, to me, it's just like not what I'm doing. It's like asking me about my jujitsu skills, maybe. Like I'm such a good communicator that when I game with women, it's pretty good. It's kind of like when I do jujitsu, it's pretty good because I was such a good wrestler. But I'm not going against good jujitsu people. I'm just going against guys that have done jujitsu longer than me. They're just not as good of athletes and combatants and wrestlers as me. So like I've been communicating. I was an entrepreneur. I sold myself as a yoga instructor. Very difficult thing to do. I've been selling I taught at university, like so much experience. So I'm like, I have all that, maybe just, you know, the skills of pickup or whatever, which is whatever. It's whatever that is. So I am also interested in those skills because, like I said, I see the genetic influence on my body. When there's something I desire and I don't know how to get it, or there's something I desire and when I do it, I'm seeing how my language of my body, my system is under the influence of something other than my conscious mind. Some degree of it. Your face is doing that thing. For example, a pair of big boobs walk by, or a big ass walks by, or a fucking girl in a bikini walks by, my head turns. That's just an example of my body did that. not my conscious mind. Does that make sense?
I'm trying to find an example that's relevant to myself.
To yourself? Okay. Like, you mean for you? I mean, it would be the guy that drives by in some like dream car.
No, I said it was interesting.
It would be some guy that's dressed like Serbian royalty. There's something, all right? Could be my twin, but looks better. Like, Jesus Christ, don't be so difficult, okay? Women respond to value. And if you don't, then you're not a woman. Like, you got to reclaim your identity as a woman. Like, women are attracted to nice cars, nice things, bling, fucking prestige, another beautiful woman on the arm, two beautiful women on the arm, a red carpet, celebrity status, famous status, something in whatever subject, a fucking cardinal, I don't care, or pope. Something that you look up to is the male archetype that would grab your attention beyond just philosophically, intellectually, like as they move by. A bodybuilder, for Christ's sake, like a big ass world champion bodybuilder walks by, god damn, you're gonna look. And if you don't, then more power to you. Then yeah, angelic. But it would be so hard for me to hold that against you. Like, it would turn your head and then get control of yourself.
Why does that happen?
It's genetics.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. And different for man and woman, because the man has to get the woman attracts the man initiates. So my initiation then is, some of that is imbued with this genetic behavior. Like how I lean, how I intonate, how I use my face, how I use my hands. What do I think to talk about?
Like when you want something genetically, it
Yeah.
alters your body. Like,
It's part, when I want something genetically, that means the genetic program is playing in my actions.
it's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm learning to tame and navigate this thing and integrate it, because I don't want to split from it and just say, no, men are attracted to women, but they can control themselves. And then I'm over here like living my life philosophy. And then I'm trying to create space between these two things. And at the right moment, it's just going to, when I'm around some situation, I'm going to act perverted or some kind of weirdness. That's what guys do. That's why popes do that. That's why teachers do that. That's why dads do that. They're lying. All right. And so I've been honest, but then let me be more honest. When I go to the pickup camp, or I'm talking with the guys that study pickup, or with AZD, or we're in the mastermind and I hear sound bites, I'm constantly hearing different ways, or perceiving different ways of doing what I would do.
Yeah.
And I see that it would maybe be better. And why did I choose this way? Where is the decision in me? Maybe it's genetic, maybe it's upbringing. It's how I saw dad do it or something. But neither of those ways are going to get me the results I want. The results are different than what I've been getting. Now, keep in mind, like I've been saying, the world of women is lost. So that needs to be taken into consideration. So I don't want to compromise myself like the pickup coach that he's one of our guys, and it's just, he's too pleasing to the women. He's like leaning in for the hug or whatever, but he's good. He is good. It's just those behaviors I don't want for myself. Short term, it's like comfort seeking or rapport seeking, and he'll probably eradicate those from himself with enough, eyes on him and whatever. That'll happen naturally. Like, he's really good. And I also have behaviors, just not those. I can call them out on him. They were hard to see in myself through the training and getting immersed in the subject, and I see it improving my wisdom in the world. Like Megan came and said something, and I was like, guys, this, guys, that, when their body language, this or that, and it totally changed their life. You've already assimilated that information a long time ago. And you remember it, but you may not really remember how profound it was whenever you had those realizations about men. Or maybe you always did. Maybe you never lied to yourself about it. I don't know. There's levels to things, like how you talk to your manager. You were unaware of that. Eye-opening. And that's after being with me for so long, and it'll continue to happen. But how do I know that? My awareness will keep going up, and so you get to benefit. But this isn't ivory tower wisdom. This is wisdom in the world. This isn't me reading a book about body language. This is me applying body language. When the cards are on the table, when the influence triggers are there, not just intellectualizing when a pretty girl walks by, this is what you do, but like doing it. When the high value guy, when the alpha male walks into your group and you're talking to some girls and he tries to punk you, what do you say? Because I'm not going to fight him just because I'm better than him. So I need the logic and the wisdom and the handles, how to handle men in the environment. When I teach you, or I teach whoever how to handle the men in your environment, where the fuck do you think I know how to do that? It's from actually handling men in environments. How to handle women, how to handle men comes from that experience. So I've regained a kind of interest in it when I started looking at Sultan's situation. And I was like, man, there's so much character potential there that will come out when in engagement with a woman. Like I've said, how I appreciate the weekly visits. And it's like, even the monthly visits when it was like some regularity to the thing. It becomes an engine that yields wisdom. And I want this for Sultan. Fernando got it. And we see where that's going. That's what happens when you don't have options. When you don't have options, you start becoming beta to the woman. Remember, this is my lecture, guys. I just want to shit myself if a woman's walking ahead of me. Like a baby. I just want to be a little baby, like I'm holding mom's arm. Just shit myself. I literally have the urge to shit myself when the woman is in front of me. That's why I just stop and let her keep walking. It's a very easy fix. You do that 3 or 4 times, she's going to stop doing it. Just stop, let her keep walking. 3 or 4 times, she turns around. What? And pretty soon, she's just not going to walk in front of you. But that's from experience.
Say something.
What? I say something when they say, like, why? Why'd you stop? Just because I don't like you walking in front of me. Next time. Oh, it's really a big deal to you, huh? Look, if you want to walk with me, shoulder behind mine. It happens again. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Happens the 4th time, she just corrects herself. Pretty soon, she just stops doing it. If she likes you, if she doesn't like you, then she won't let you do that. That's what I mean about the bitch that's dominant over men. She doesn't like men. But what's really to like about men? The women haven't met men like me. That's something you will take for granted. You've already started to take for granted that you don't get that other women don't regard me how you do, but they don't know enough about me. You studied me for years. You saw my character. You saw my change. You saw how like, this is real. What they see is macho guy trying to be all patriarchal and whatever. They have their own story, a filter for what they're seeing. And so game is how to penetrate that, because women need rescuing. The community, the culture needs rescuing. Women make the decisions that guide the culture because they're the consumers and everybody's chasing them. So you fix women, you fix the culture using women, especially pretty women. That's who all the women follow. And I see the power of that. And I see that as kind of a longer term thing, that there is a character in me, a beingness in me that at the age 60, 70, 80, 90 is still so valuable and so attractive to be influencing society through the most beautiful women and through the most powerful men that have aligned with me. That's why the most beautiful women are attracted. There's an alignment here with power, real power and prestige, real access to limited things, real access to wealth and resource and safety and security, opportunity that is hard to deny. Your genetics react to it. And you get accustomed to it, you forget it. And then when we break up, then you realize, oh, what's the world out there for me? And that's the necessity rising. That's, now this isn't looking so bad. Oh, because we don't get enough time, or because you're aggressive, or you yell at me or something. It's like, yeah, there's some, the girls, I'll bet that girl is interacting, the guys that they're acting, she's interacting with, don't yell at her until they feel butthurt because she's sleeping with other guys or something. Because all guys do that. They just don't know how to do it. They don't win her over, and so they say a bunch of, I mean, I know what guys say. Because I was the guy that said that stuff. It's, you know, I'm smart and logical. I went through all the logic they're going through. So I'm learning to live life better through that. And I'm kind of prolonging lecture. I want to end it, so I'm just wrapping it up. So I saw in Sultan this potential, and I want to help. And when I started to think about how would I be a good wingman, not just when we're out at a club, I mean a wingman in life. Like, how would I be a wingman in life to Sultan? When I started thinking about that, window started opening in my mind of how I can improve myself. Because that's really what I see in each of you is a piece of me. Because I'm looking at my own mind when I look at you. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at my own mind when I look at you. Yeah. And that's like the woman that's hating me, oh, male patriarch or whatever. She's looking at her own mind, not me. It's what's been programmed in there. So I started to see all this potential for Sultan and me helping, and it was really me helping myself. And so that was very eye-opening for me. And then there's so much potential in the city. And then there's also now another base, 2 bases that are really focusing on social dynamics or whatever. And I'm competitive. I don't like them knowing more, being better, being smoother, being cooler, having better stories, especially when we're out. I like the admiration. I don't want them getting it. It's just me. This is my lecture. So I like to win. And I know that to win, my team needs to win. And my team here is base 1. So that's just what it is. For some reason, Jordan Amari's really liking this, and I'm getting that. Sultan maybe didn't know that this was my angle coming at it. I'm pretty fucking competitive. And I don't think that we're anything less than Vegas base or Los Angeles base. But not just in mindset, but in visible results making. And that's what we're going to show the world, even in Man Jose. Easy. Easy peasy.
Which way do you mean win competitive?
And everything, options, influence. So women, yes, lots of women, lots of beautiful women, but it's not about being loose or whatever. It's about having me as a man being loose, because I'm not loose, I'm busy, but it's the influence. When I dial the bitch or I text the bitch, reply like a woman, and be the waitress there, and be the hostess there, and be the fucking worker there, and be the yoga teacher there, and be everywhere that I know women, and you comply to me like a woman should. And I have access through your doors of business to you as a woman if I want. I don't care that you're married, that you have a boyfriend, that you're single. And it's what I want. And maybe I don't want you to be most loyal, clean, fucking not sleeping, because then that means I need some responsibility over you also. And maybe I don't want to use my time to check in on you. Maybe I don't want to use my time to check your mindset. Maybe I don't give a fuck about your problems in life. But when I interact with you, you should interact with me like a woman. And when I want you, you're there, that level. And then what that does with business and life and the interactions with men. So I want them to come to here as if it's my city. And I'm the celebrity here. And what? Go ahead.
No, I think I was just reflecting on earlier when you asked me if I was enjoying the lecture live, and I really am.
Are you?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the privileges of being here and being on constant communication with me. It's not that I have to do so much. I am actually trying to limit my texting with you because it's just, I'm on it so much. But I know you do. It's a level in me. We need to go. So, but it is just being available. It is being in presence. It is having a daily communication line if you want, which keeps you in check in a way that is so stabilizing. All right. Okay. That's the end. I'll see you guys next Monday. Os. Namaste. Oh, that's the end, Sultan. Okay, he's just coming back.